Danielle Smith is the Premier of Alberta, and she joins me right now because I want to put the question to her. Welcome to Toronto, and what are you going to do about Alberta in Canada? Are you really leaving?
You know, it's funny how I think what I was trying to do was misconstrued. And so I named the act the Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act to make it perfectly clear what I was up to.
The media would just stop at sovereignty as opposed within the United Canada.
But you know, the term sovereignty shouldn't be controversial because the way our country is set up is that we have a constitution that gives sovereign powers to the federal level of government and sovereign powers to the provincial level of government. Yeah. And I think part of what I needed to do is educate the Eastern media, number one, but also educate the Prime Minister about how our country is supposed to work.
Educate our Prime Minister, that could be a very difficult task. But you're absolutely right, because within certain jurisdictions, it's a provincial right. And so you're fighting for that in the courts right now. So let's just talk about, though, the idea about, one nation. You're not about separating.
Not at all.
You're Canadian.
Here's the way I've tried to describe it. If I started as a provincial premier legislating in federal areas, if I started legislating on national defense or legislating on airports or legislating on passport offices, although I think I might be able to do a better job running passport offices.
There's no doubt.
People would say, that is outside your lane. Why in the world would you think that you could legislate in an area of federal jurisdiction? People should feel the exact same way when the federal government legislates in a provincial area of jurisdiction. It is not their business. And part of the problem that we have with this particular Prime Minister is he doesn't honor the lines that are clearly delineated in our Constitution, and that's why it's created conflict.
So there used to be in earlier governments meetings between the Prime Minister and all the premiers. That's a thing of the past. But do the premiers talk about other premiers? And I know you chat with some good ones. Do they talk about what's going on with the federal grab on power?
We had an opportunity to get together as premiers,
right? Because
we were trying to negotiate a health accord, and that's a prime example. The Prime Minister wouldn't come to the table for 3 years. He ultimately did, and so we didn't. The premiers didn't get exactly what they were asking for. But I think that the federal government did come to the table with enough money that it's going to make a difference in our province. That's part of the reason why I accepted it. But there should be more collaboration. There should actually be. If we're going to have cooperative federalism, then you have to demonstrate that you're willing to cooperate. I've only spoken with the Prime Minister one-on-one twice in the time that I've been elected, which is quite astonishing because the number of times that he announces legislation that is going to directly impact our resource development.
And you read about it.
Read about it in the newspaper. And this is part of the reason why so much of what I have to do is pushing back through the media, because it's the only way to send the message. And I know that we're breaking through because there's at least a couple of ways in which they back down, and we're going to make sure that they back down in all of the areas of our jurisdiction.
Fabulous. Danielle Smith, a Canadian, 3 minutes. Thank you for contributing. We are almost out of the hole. People like the show, and we want to keep it on the air. So press subscribe, press PayPal. PayPal is really simply a credit card that you can pay with. And if you're writing a check or a letter, please put your address in, because I will send a letter to everybody who contributes money. Subscribe, PayPal. Thank you.